Alright, what's up guys? Well, this is episode number 1 of Old Tec New Tec, and in this episode we are going to start with the baseline of my primary system. This system is named Silverlake. It is a i7 4790K, currently running 20 gigs of RAM and a GTX 970 4 gig card. Most of this system was acquired from a friend, didn't need it anymore, wanted to know if I wanted it to play around with it. I said absolutely. So I have done quite a bit to it. When I got it, they had never cleaned it, so I actually had to take it apart and run it through a bath. As you can see, I have it lit all in red. It is in the Cooler Master Stormtrooper case. Has LED fans. Everything runs on speed control. Right now I run it on, I think, the lowest setting, but maybe I was on the highest setting, or maybe that's not the fan control. If it was, yeah, it is the fan control. Okay, so never mind. They're still. Okay, now they're coming up. So I'm on the second from highest setting. Okay, I was gonna say it runs super quiet. When I got it, it had a AIO cooler in it, and the AIO cooler was so loud. Plus, it was in a Corsair case that I absolutely could not stand and cannot stand. I love this case to death. So this is my baby, and it's going to get some work done to it, but beforehand we're going to dust for one, because that needs some dust loving to it. That's not bad, actually. So for one, we're going to benchmark this today. So this is going to be a benchmarking video. First of two benchmarking videos, actually, because I have to move it to do the second one. But we are going to do some upgrades to this. One of the upgrades, we're going to change out the 250 gig SSD to a 2 terabyte M2. So I can put my games directly on the M2, namely the larger games like Forza. Can throw directly on the M2 for extra loading speed. And then we're going to replace the 2 terabyte desktop hard drive with a 4 terabyte Western Digital Gold. We're going to replace the 970 with a 1080 Ti, and we're going to take out the two gig RAM sticks, and we're going to add in 2 more 8 gigs, giving me a total of 32 gigs of RAM. I don't really see a need to swap out the processor and motherboard. I would like to, but for the price of an i9-9900 or even a i7-8700, I'd rather get the 1080 Ti and the M2. I think that would be better served. Processor isn't really bottlenecking anywhere. So what we're going to do for this video is we're going to run some 1080p benchmarks, and then I will get moved over to the other TV, the actual TV, and we'll run some 4K benchmarks, but I'm going to do that in a second video because I doubt I'm going to have time to do that tonight. I have a pretty good idea of what numbers this is going to pull in 1080p, but I have no idea what it's going to pull in 4K, and for 1080p gaming, this really does not need any upgrades. But in the spring, I plan on moving up to a 4K monitor full time, and I want to see what the 970 will do in 4K, and then we're going to see. So I have a feeling it's going to be very disappointing. So first thing we're going to run 3. So we're going to start with Cinebench. I'm not going to run the CPU test. I'm mainly looking for the graphic performance. I have a pretty good idea at what the numbers are going to come back at. put them down in formal numbers, and we'll chart them so we can compare. I know the 970 should be able to do 4K on like low, maybe medium, but I want to see what it actually, real numbers, come back at. So the OpenGL came back at 113.03. So I guess that only runs CPU, so that doesn't have anything to do with that. Okay, so the only thing that I can run under there, what's advanced benchmark? Yeah, just CPU. Okay. So 113.03 FPS in Cinebench. So I'm going to go down to Horizon 4, which is one that I actually play quite a bit. Since we're comparing on the 970, I'm going to run it on a couple settings here. It should be on Ultra now, so we'll run the first one on Ultra. And that should give me mid-50s. That should put me about the mid-50s. Ultra 1080. Let's benchmark it. I'm gonna guess like 50, 52 for Ultra. High I should hit in the mid 70s, and medium we should probably hit in the low hundreds. So I just want to see differences. So that, for what it would cost, and even for what that processor is still worth, I just don't see it necessary to upgrade. And 32 gigs of RAM isn't wholly necessary, but I just don't really think 16 is enough for what I want to do. Let's see, now we're running 43, which is still playable. I mean, we're still above 30. That's fully playable. Yeah. Everything that I have or I have found is upstairs. There's no visibility display. Everything that I have found is upstairs. Everything that I have found is upstairs. That's all there's to do. I have not been used to everything that's out there. Just set all the stuff you had set aside. That includes our That's not terrible. It did max our video memory, 4.07 of 3¼ gigs. We used 8.96 of 19.94 system memory, and 1920 by 1080 at 144 hertz. And then it always restarts back out when we go out of benchmark mode. So I'm going to drop that down to high. And Tomb Raider's the last one that will run. Alright, that brought us up to 73. So, we'll drop it down to medium. And we will try it again. Pretty sure medium is the highest that I would be able to get playable out of 4K, but you know, we're gonna find out. We're gonna see just what that looks like. Alright, now interestingly, dropping it down to medium only gave us 78 FPS, so I would have thought that we'd have gotten higher than that, but I guess not. So, let's get that out, and then let's set up Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider, I know, is one of the common benchmarks used, one of the more taxing ones apparently. Right. Start the benchmark. Same as with Forza, I'll show you the first one and show you results from the other ones. I don't remember if this one only goes up to very high or if this one has an ultra on it as well. But 1080p, I know this is on the highest video setting. I've thought about going cheap and getting a 1070 or going with a 20 series, but I don't need ray tracing. And from what I've looked at comparative benchmarks wise, I just don't see getting a 2080 over a 1080 Ti. Like the areas that a 1080 Ti beats a 2080, I would just be more interested in. The only reason to get a 2080 would be to SLI them, because it's easier to find two matching 2080s than it is to find two matching 1080 Ti's, because of how ridiculously expensive the Ti's have gotten. Alright. Overall score is 62.89. Which is not bad. Pulling 60 FPS at 1080. You know, with a system that's basically 4 years old. Let's see, so that was on very high. So let's drop it down to high. And run it again. Very high. Tomb Raider high, and then Tomb Raider medium. Alright, so I'll bring you back when I have results. so that one brought us up to 74.05. Honestly holding pretty well in line with Horizon, actually. Which is interesting because from watching videos of people running builds and benchmarks, I kind of figured that Tomb Raider would be more of a taxing game than Horizon would be, but alright, we'll run this last one and then we will wrap it up. Alright, and so this one brings us to 75.99. So not much difference between medium and high. Be interesting to see once we get into 1440 and 2160 just how that translates over. I kind of think it'll do alright at 1440. I have a feeling that 4K is just going to make me want to cry and just remind me why I am saving for a 1080 Ti. Yeah. This should be interesting. Alright, so that wraps up our 1080p test. So I'm going to go ahead and call this video here. So I don't know when I'm going to have time to move it and do the 4K tests, but 113 in Cinebench, 53 to 78 in Horizon 4, and then 62 to 75 in Tomb Raider, or Rise of the Tomb Raider. So, thank you for watching. Get out and have some fun, do some benchmarks, and we will see you in the next one.